We're going to talk about some prospects here. We've got the PFF mock draft simulator. It's a PFF banner show today with Brad and the mock draft.
Can
simulator.
I say something real quick?
How
heartbreaking is it? How heartbreaking is it when you get app notifications for your fantasy football team that died last weekend? Isn't it heartbreaking? Do you hate it?
Well, I haven't participated in fantasy since the regular season ended, so I can't relate.
Yeah.
I was spared Waffle House, and that's a win enough for me.
That is a win, and I'm proud of you. You fought your ass off. It just told me like TJ Hawkinson's out. Well, thank you. I'm in the toilet bowl now. I'm in the consolation round.
Welcome,
I'm
friend.
not setting
Welcome
my lineup any longer. All
right.
Let's. How many rounds are we doing? Let's do 3.
I think we're doing 3. Cardinals only. We haven't done one of these, fair warning, since the Cardinals ended up with pick 2. So it could get a little spicy here. So we're going to start this draft. What do our friends in Chicago do? Oh, look, they take Drake May first overall. So we're going to pretend in this scenario that Caleb Williams gave him the double bird and said, I'm not playing for you, which I don't think. Let's talk about this situation for a second, Bo. Caleb Williams refuses to go to Chicago. Do you think that makes Austin Ford excited that he would come to Arizona? I don't.
I mean, he's really like if he's going to dig in, he's like, I'm going to dictate where I'm going to go. Bad start to his NFL career. But look, I saw the reports that Washington is all in on him, and he played at Gonzaga there at the high school level in the Washington, D.C. area. Maybe that makes him more comfortable with the area, but we don't know much more about this new ownership group that took over for Dan Snyder. So, could you go to Washington? Could you go to New England and get them and really kind of scare them into believing that somebody's going to jump ahead of them to take the Caleb Williams? Like, them taking Drake May just took the Arizona Cardinals' ability to get an absolute king's ransom in return for the 2nd overall pick and still being in prime position to get a legit player, hopefully still Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think the play here is to make Washington sweat it out, to call bluff, say, hey, we got to deal with New England. You got to come up. And I think in this scenario, I'm telling you right now, I think it's a 2 and a 3. I think you tell Washington, hey, we want the San Francisco Bears package of a couple of years ago when the Bears came up one spot for Trubisky. It was either 2 2s or a 2 and a 3. And they've got 2 2s for a reason. They jet setted, Montez Sweat to Chicago, coincidentally enough. So I actually, we have to force this trade. I think this is a realistic situation.
Don't you think you could get more from New England? I mean, I don't want to get greedy here, but don't you think?
Well, but the problem then is does Washington then take Marvin Harrison Jr.? I mean, I'm fine with doing that, but it's like you would need 4. I think you'd need their 1 next year, and I think you would need their 2
for sure.
But I don't know if that's not enough for me to pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. An extra 1 in 2025. I don't like that deal.
Okay.
You like that deal? I don't like it.
Yeah, a future 1.
Over Marvin, though? What happens if the Patriots win?
The rebuild doesn't end this offseason. As bullish as I am on this team getting better this offseason, the rebuild, it continues on. If you can get future assets.
I'm trumping you. I am not passing on Harrison Jr. for a future 1 by itself. You want to talk about a 1 next year and a 1 in 2026, whatever.
All right.
I don't want to do this Houston thing again where, hey, look, New England's better. They're picking 18th again. And then there's Cardinals that don't have a number 1 receiver. This is the play. This is the trade. We're forcing it. It's happening. Resume draft. Caleb Williams goes to Washington, which means Marvin Harrison Jr. Wouldn't it be funny if they had taken Marvin Harrison Jr.? He goes to the Cardinals, 3rd overall.
You're moving so fast here. Johnny Conservative moving really fast here after he pulled off his safe trade, where I was about to get you guys so much more. But I love it. Look, Cardinals, they get a couple extra assets this draft, and we're doing a 3-round mock draft, so we got another 2nd and another 3rd, right?
Yeah, we love to see it. Yeah,
we're making a ton of picks. Is it 8 picks in the top 3 rounds? That's unbelievable. And Marvin Harrison Jr. It's Monty mock draft right now. That's what we're doing. Monty Ossenfort, Monty mock draft. And Rome Dunzier, he's there. Johnny, at one point this season, wanted to make a play for 2 wide receivers. But look,
I wouldn't hate this situation.
This is easy to me. You take Dallas Turner, the TFL machine out of Alabama. I think he's your guy coming off the edge. for the Cardinals with the Houston Texans pick.
I'm with you. Poetic to get Larry Fitzgerald's successor 20 years later after he was drafted. Poetic to get Will Anderson Jr.'s successor 1 year later. The storylines, they write themselves. Dallas Turner, I'm with you. I think he's going to have a banner college football playoff. Cardinals at pick 34, we're getting a good look at what folks think about Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. Bo, I think the situation, again, is increasingly clear. It's got to be the corner from Georgia or the tackle from Washington. The Cardinals have opted to go offense, defense. Do you pivot back to offense here?
Yeah, Lassiter is tantalizing. Then you talk about tackles. Jordan Morgan from U of A? He's just down there too. Probably go Lassiter just because you need a cornerback. You just released Marco Wilson. You've got, sure, you can be encouraged by Keitrell Clark and Starling Thomas, but still you got to find like a starting caliber type corner. And I think you can do that by taking the dog from the SEC.
I love that we rolled the dice there, and then our boy from Washington still available. He can play guard this year if you wanted to roll it back with DJ Humphries. Now, Mitchell from Texas is intriguing, and I would have no issue if you have a couple extra picks on day 2 going back to that well at wide receiver. But for the sake of this, I am going BPA, in my opinion, a first-round caliber tackle/guard, and get mean up front. The Arizona Cardinals now back on the clock, pick 66 and 67, back-to-back, Bo. What do we owe the pleasure, the privilege here? What do the Cardinals do? Pick 2 players. Have some fun here in the 3rd round.
Yeah, we still have 4 more selections just in the 2nd and 3rd rounds alone. Jonathan Brooks is a guy who tore his ACL that was one of the best backs in the country that could kind of have a red shirt year with James Conner coming back. But is it too early here? Probably too early. And there's a ton of backs still on the board. So let's not dabble just yet. Maybe another SEC corner and DJ James out of Auburn had a decent year. Please, I still, when you hover around a linebacker like Jeremiah Trotter Jr., it still gives me like PTSD from the Keim days. And we still haven't addressed the defensive line. Like, the defensive line needs so much help. Is there anybody on the interior of the defensive line that can be an immediate impact maker?
I think that's probably for these later 2 picks.
Okay.
I mean, we got an edge rusher, and that helps exponentially. But yeah, I'm with you. I think man, looking at this, this would be a scenario in which, man, would not bode well for the Cardinals just because you have back-to-back.
I'd probably go with DJ James, the corner out of Auburn, then start to flood the position.
I don't hate that. He needs to put on some weight. Maybe you can rotational guy the first year. Looking at this, the Cardinals have an opportunity, I think, to add defensive line and a back at a different spot.
McMillan out of Washington at the wide receiver position, not a bad idea.
Listen, hear me out. Let me look at this real fast.
Get out of here, dude.
You don't have any interest in
it's
Jeremiah
the right
Trotter
school.
Jr.?
They produce a ton of talent out of Iowa for the tight end position.
You don't have any interest in this?
If we venture into like are we in the 3rd round yet?
We are. We're at the top of the 3rd.
Yeah.
Here's what I get to pick this pick because I'm going to tell you right now, the Cardinals need help at receiver. Have you watched this kid play?
It's the former ASU player, right?
I know. That's why I'm asking you.
All right.
Yeah, had a good year. And his yards per catch, I think, was limited by their quarterback play. I'm gonna go potential here.
What's his height?
What's that? He's over 6 foot.
Okay.
I think he's 6 foot even or 6'1". He's 6'1". I think this is the sweet spot. You want to gamble another, not Michael Wilson S type of player, SEC wide receiver over 6 foot. Check that box for me. And again, a lot of these same options now available, Bo.
Yeah. Let's keep going here. I would have gone McMillan over kid out of Florida.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, limitations though, separating. I would. That's fine. You're flipping a coin there. I don't have an issue with that. I do think that though, this is a position where you could look at this kid from Clemson
for sure. And then the kid out of UConn is a top-rated guard.
Yeah,
where I know you like the position flexibility. The tackle out of Washington, but still, I mean, left guard has been a kind of an issue, kind of a revolving door for the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe Christian Haynes here, get yourself some offensive line depth.
Let's do it. I don't have an issue with that at all. You get one of the best interior offensive linemen in the draft. Now with their last pick in the first round, I think we can just third round, excuse me. I think we can have some fun here. Everybody in the chat, what do you like? Donovan Edwards, one of my favorite players in the draft, but Trey Benson's fantastic. I mean, like, if this falls to the Cardinals like this, you can pencil in right now. Pick 8 is going to be a bad.
I think this has been a big miss, though, that we haven't gotten any defensive linemen. I really do.
The board, you got to go where the board falls, though. We're not gonna reach. If we reach, then we're gonna be rebuilding forever.
All right. So we're gonna with James Conner on the roster, you pick his successor, and I think that's between Benson and Edwards. They're both bigger body backs. Yeah,
I love Donovan
2 to
Edwards.
3 down guys.
I mean, he is just an absolute monster. He had a much better 2022. I think he's gonna have a great college football playoff. I think he's fresh. We've taken Benson before. For the sake of this mock, I mean, is that good value though? I don't know. For the sake of this mock, are you cool if we take Donovan Edwards?
You've been just shooting from the hip all draft. So go ahead, Monty, mock draft.
We're not going to do well from a grading standpoint. I know that, but you know what? Not everybody loved the Michael Wilson pick last year. Not everybody loved what Monty Ossenford did, rounds 1 through 7 last year. So you can't please everybody. Let's see how we did with the mock draft simulator. A plus A minus A minus B, and a D. Still didn't bring our average down. You like what you see here? Would you sign up for this draft tomorrow?
No. Need defensive line. We need beef. Unless Monty goes absolutely crazy in free agency for the beef up front, this would be inexcusable.
No, I think this is great. I love this I love this a lot. I think they can roll with Roy Lopez. Would enjoy that immensely. We're going to download this. We'll put it on Twitter, and check it out. Good stuff, man. You know what else is good stuff? I'm not fired. I'm hired. I'm promoted.